Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Don't Touch My Music podcast. You're here with me, Keana, and my co host, Chardonnay.
Hi.
And it's another Thursday episode. And
Yes.
today we're going to go in on the Grammys and discuss the things and the stuff. Everything that we feel like discussing, we're basically going to discuss because we've been talking about it since it happened.
Yes.
And we have a lot of feelings.
A lot. Definitely a lot.
I watch the Grammys every year, live. Every year I get annoyed, but I watch it anyway. At this point, I kind of just watch the Grammys to see what is going to annoy me this year. And the answer is always everything. Everything annoys me. So before we go into all of our beef with the Grammys, let me explain a bit how it actually works. Like, how are these the people that get nominated? Who the fuck is behind everything? And what is going on, basically? And I'm going to try to give you the short answer because it's actually really fucking complicated. And actually, it's so bad. So in order to vote for first who gets nominated and second who wins, you have to be a member of the Recording Academy of Voters, basically. And the only way that you can become a member of the voters for the Recording Academy is you have to apply, yourself. Somebody can also recommend you. But there are specific things that you have to have accomplished, basically, including experience and including a few specific accolades, which I'm not going to go over because I don't remember.
We'll be on the board soon.
Chardonnay. No, we won't. Maybe you, but not me, because you're a musician. I'm just out here making noise.
Bitch, I need to be on the board to change some things because
no. But anyway, and there are 2 voting windows for all the members of the voters. Both voting windows were last year, because the Grammys were supposed to happen in January of this year. So it's gonna sound like everything took place a fuck long time ago. It's because it did. COVID continues to fuck shit up. So the first voting window was from October 22nd to November 5th, which is a little under a month, which is fucked up because the first voting window is where you have so many submissions to go over. And I remember watching a YouTube channel recently. The video came out really recently as well. That was a producer who was showing the voting process from the first voting window to the second one. And he was voting in the rap section, because he had a song in there. And so like he had to scroll all the way down to like 225 or some shit to find his song in there, just to give you an example of how massive the selection of songs are. So like you have to be super fucking patient, because if like, you know, all the categories that you decide that you're going to vote for, you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs to listen to within that window of a little under a month. Typically, a lot of voting members don't even vote in the first window because it's just too much stuff. It's too much. And then the second voting window, the second voting window was December 6th to January 5th, and that was now for who was gonna win the Grammy. And they had basically a month for this one, but they had considerably less to try to vote for and consider. Exactly. I was like, guys, I feel like it should be the other way around.
Exactly.
First
it doesn't
of all,
make any sense.
So the rules for voting is that you can only vote in 3 fields besides the general fields, which are the 4 main ones, which is Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist. So those are like everybody has to vote there. And then you can pick 3 fields of your choosing. But the general rule of that is that it has to be fields in which you are versed. So you have to be knowledgeable about the fields that you're going to vote in.
Yeah.
Um, Otherwise, your vote, one, isn't genuine, and two, you don't know what the fuck you're doing in there.
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
just
Yeah. Yeah.
picking. You're just picking whatever. So that's the general rule, but I don't think that they actually police it in any way. I haven't.
No,
That's
I
not
doubt
what
it.
I've understood from people who have spoken about the voting process. They just said, like,
Mm-hmm.
they know to stick to the stuff that they know, but what's stopping other people from actually, just venturing out into
Right.
whatever the fuck. So that's also another thing that I was like, how do you control that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then the other rule is that you can only vote in 10 categories. So for the, what is it, 7 fields that you're voting in those 7 fields, you can only vote for 10 categories. Whereas in the past, it was around 15 or 16. This was a new
Mm.
rule that was implemented for these Grammys. Um, yeah, so it's fucked.
It
um,
sounds very complicated.
it's just too complicated, man. You have so many like things, and I understand these rules are in place to try to make it as fair a vote as possible.
Yeah, but no.
What I wanted to discuss, i.e., the voting, was how come we never get like a little roundup of how many votes went in what categories? Because
Exactly.
personally, I think that's interesting. Those are interesting statistics to have a look
Yeah,
at, because then
definitely.
you can see what the most popular genres are. Like, of course, you can like just Google that.
Yeah.
You can
Yeah,
Google
yeah.
that because that information is out there. But I mean, for the Recording Academy voters, among the voters, how are those votes like distributed? Because I think
Distributed.
that's an interesting statistic to look at.
Mm-hmm.
And then also compare that number to like how many people are voters and how many people actually voted and all of that jazz. Like you don't get to see that, which I think is a
No.
pity, because
Mm-hmm.
it's valuable information. You also don't get to see like the demographic of
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the voters, because I think that's also interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like we can assume that most voters are grown ass people, adults, because of some of the accolades that you have to be a
Exactly.
voting member of
Yeah.
the Recording Academy.
Yeah.
Um, so it's unlikely that people around our age or younger, I mean, around our age is becoming more common, but younger would
Yeah.
be Recording Academy voters, right?
Yeah.
So how how is the shit, like, I just want to know. I have too many questions and there's not enough
Yeah.
transparency for me, basically, is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I just
Yeah.
want to know things because I'm nosy, but also because I think it's interesting to
Mm-hmm.
look at the demographic of the voters, see how the votes are distributed, see what genres are the most voted on other than the main field of categories. And like, this is valuable information that could
Mm-hmm.
help change the way shit works within the Recording Academy, because clearly, annually, not only do watchers of the Grammys have an issue with it, but so do the actual musicians who
Mm-hmm.
are trying to attain this accolade. I feel like you guys aren't sharing enough information,
Yeah. No.
which is why
The
people are always so suspicious of the Recording Academy. It's just because they're not
exactly.
sharing enough information. Sure, you share the
Mm-hmm.
voting process, but like,
Yeah.
okay,
Bitch, they don't share nothing.
no, they really don't.
And the fact that you said that persons get to, like, apart from the main categories, persons get to vote in other fields
Mm-hmm.
that they have um interest and knowledge in. I'm
Mm-hmm.
asking myself, like, especially for the reggae sector, who decided to be a part of that one? Because I'm
Yeah.
like, you know,
No, that was a shocking result. I'm not
like,
gonna
who?
I'm not gonna lie. I was
Listen,
expecting anybody except who actually won. I was like,
yeah. And then apart from the reggae, because I gotta get into that, I'm asking myself, like, if the persons who are on the board, well, then the voting members, if the voting members are like older persons,
mm-hmm.
like, what do they actually look at, or what do they actually look for? I'm like, okay, yes, they do listen to the music, but do they look at the achievements? I don't know, the impact, the reach that the artist has, you know,
Yeah.
Like, yeah, so I'm like, if these are older persons who are voting, what do you actually look for? Do you look for like accomplishments, milestones? What do you look for? Because I'm like, do you like this type of music per
Yeah.
se to like vote it in as a win? Like, what are you looking for? That's my main thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're it's so crazy because you're concerned with who are voting, and I'm
Yeah.
concerned with what are
What
your
are they
votes
looking for?
based on? Like, what are
Yeah.
you looking for? You
The
know?
only reason that like that's not my concern is because just as a reference point, I'm gonna mention the YouTube video again because
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people to be like, yeah, well, where are your sources?
Mm.
A voter, a Grammy, a Grammys Recording Academy voter is my source right
Yeah.
now. So,
Yeah.
but it's what I figured, right? The that would be the general thought process behind voting. I thought it was interesting that he also mentioned it, but he actually gave each thing kind of like a name, I guess, or a description. So he said that the first type of vote would be logical, the second type would be emotional, and the third type would be technical. So for the logical one, it would be people that are like, well, I saw that the song performed really well on charts, on
Yeah.
radio, it went
Yeah.
viral, so this is what I'm going to vote for. Then
Mm-hmm.
there was the emotional vote, and he said that that one is more like, I like this song, the song spoke to me, I like the people who made the song, so this is what's going to get my vote.
Yeah, I'm
Or
not here for that one.
this is my
Uh,
friend, so I'm going to vote for my friend,
yeah,
type of
I'm not
thing.
here for that vote. I'm
Yeah,
not here for the emotional
you're not
vote.
really supposed
No.
to vote like that, but
Yeah,
but people
I'm
do.
not there for that one. Yeah.
People do. And then there's the technical one, which
Mm-hmm.
is what he thinks that most producers is their approach.
Yeah.
So it's like
I'm here for that
the
one.
like the production, the mixing, the
Exactly.
mastering,
The quality.
just the quality, everything.
Yes. I'm here for
Um,
that one.
like that's what I've always assumed. You can vote for your own song, which I think is fine because like you want to win the Grammy, so sure, go vote for your own song. But not to just vote for somebody because you're like, I know them and I like them. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? Like, you know
Yeah.
how huge this is. Like, why
Mm-hmm.
do that? And then
Mm-hmm.
the logical vote also makes sense to me
Yeah,
because
I like the logical vote and I like the technical vote. Like,
yeah, logical
those
vote also
make
makes sense to me.
those
The
makes
technical
a lot of
vote
sense.
is really, you have to be somebody who is knowledgeable about the technical stuff in
Right.
music
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
do the technical vote. So I'd imagine that for a lot of people, it's the logical voting
Yeah.
and the emotional voting, and not so
Exactly.
much technical voting.
The technical
But
voting.
I
No.
can't speak on behalf of the voting members of the
Whoever
Recording
is there.
Academy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I am just gonna assume that that's what happens
Yeah.
because it feels like that's what would happen.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so now what are we gonna get into? What are we gonna get into now that
Are
we've
we going
discussed
to
the voting?
we going to get into the premiere show?
Oh, listen.
We gotta get into the premiere show because I came home because I was actually out and I came home just in time for the premiere show because you reminded me. And the only thing that I was looking forward to is best reggae album. But before I get into that, I'm always saying before I get into that because that one is a very touchy
Oh, it's
subject for me
touchy. It's touchy.
because I don't know what happened there. But anyways, did you think that everything went quickly? I thought everything moved so quickly. Like it was I felt like it was almost like rushed. Like it was the next
the
after the next
premiere.
after the next. Yeah. What did you think?
I watched it from the beginning to the end.
I know, yeah, you watched it
So
from the
I
beginning
thought
to
it
the
was
end.
too fucking long. I like, okay,
No.
so I mean, my thing is with the whole having two separate ceremonies,
Yeah.
is that there was an imbalance between the two. Like, I
Yeah.
understand that the Recording Academy doesn't think that the premiere ceremony is as important as the main ceremony.
Yeah.
But there's just too much of an imbalance. Like in the premiere ceremony, it was too many awards back to back to back to back being handed out, and then
Yeah.
not enough
And
performances to like kind of break it up a bit.
yeah.
And then in the main ceremony, it was too
There
many
was barely
performances back to back to back
barely
to
any
back, and not
awards.
enough awards to break it up.
Yes,
Because,
that's what I asked myself.
yeah, because, it's an award show, but it was really just a concert, which
Yeah,
I didn't mind because a lot of the performances were really, really good, right? Like, I was there for a lot of the performances, but like, at the same time, I was like, can we wrap it up and hand out the awards, please?
yeah.
Like,
Because while I was looking at this whole thing, I was like, no. I was just like, no, because it's like I'm like, where are all the persons that's supposed to get awards? Okay, you already did it in the premiere. So
yeah,
what is the main one for now? Because like barely anyone got awards here. And if persons got, it was like almost the same persons over and over. So I'm like, what is the reason? What is the reason
yeah,
for the main one? It doesn't make sense. Like some of the categories that they had in the premiere should have been in the main one. I mean, like, hello, we were talking about jazz, we were talking about Latin, we were talking about
global,
reggae, we were talking about rock, global, which is such a huge
yeah,
one.
rap,
Like
R&B,
rap, R&B,
pop.
you had all of those things in the premiere. Why were they not in the main? I feel like those were very important. We had iconic artists a part of the premiere show that won a Grammy that was not displayed on the main, which I feel like should have been done.
Yeah, it's
I'm like, it just doesn't make any sense. Hello?
yeah, because I'm like, I understand that they split it up because 84 awards is a lot to try to hand
No,
out in their little
definitely.
time slot for television or
But
whatever.
that shows me that they don't recognize, or I don't want to say recognize because it's recognized because it's nominated, but I want to say in terms of like appreciation,
Yeah.
if it's the correct word,
Mm-hmm.
like how could you have global music in the
Mm.
premiere and not in the main? How could you have jazz?
Yeah.
Hello? Jazz what actually influenced
Like everything.
R&B and hip hop a bit. Like you like hello? Like
Yeah, that thing of the premiere versus the main ceremony is, it's just, it's weird. It's
mhm,
weird because, like, how are we handing out 90% of the awards here on the side,
on the side.
and then you get like the six awards during the main
Main.
ceremony? And I'm sure that, there's no way that they could do all 84 um, categories and awards in one televised slot.
Yeah.
But like, either make that shit a 2-day event or figure out a balance, because that balance was
Yeah.
not balancing.
It was not
It
balancing.
really wasn't
And
balancing because I was like
what
bored
was
out of my mind for one and overstimulated in the other one. I'm like, stop this, figure it out.
what was so what was so weird for me was that okay, I mean it happens all the time, but I'm like the whole ass premiere is going on now, but you have people out walking on a red carpet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what is this? Where is the attention? Is the attention on the premiere? Is the attention on the people on the red carpet? Where is it going? Like, get y'all shits coordinated. Like,
Yeah. I was like, just figure it out. Because this is.
yes, because while we were watching the premiere, you were like, oh, Doja is on the red carpet. I'm like, what? Because I told you, I said, where are you seeing this? Send it to me now because I want to see. And then see, now I'm coming off of the live stream from the premiere to try to find the live stream for the red carpet, but it wasn't like official. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm confused because I'm like, I want to see who's coming on the red carpet. I want to hear the interviews, but also it was not official. But then
Mm.
here is the premiere going on with categories that I want to see. Where do I look? Where do I put my focus? No,
It was a
no.
lot. It was
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
It was much. I was like, please, guys, I can't do this. I'm like all over the place because I'm like, I know
yeah,
who I want to see on the red carpet, and then
exactly.
I'm on Twitter. I'm watching the premiere because I also want to see who wins. But then I'm also
Right.
like, okay, but half of the, because that's also the shit, right? More than half of the people that were nominated in the premiere weren't there yet. They
No,
weren't there yet. Their
no.
awards got accepted on their behalf
Because, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Because,
because they're trying to show up for the main ceremony, not the side bitch.
exactly. And the
Like, you
thing
know what
is,
I mean?
yeah, and the thing is, Doja and Spice showed up at the same time because they took
Yeah.
a pic together because they was
Yeah.
walking on the red carpet. And it's so crazy because they showed up so close to their categories.
Yeah.
Because remember when Spice showed up and she was like walking the red carpet, taking pictures, doing a small interviews. I was like, I wonder if she's inside already because her category is coming up, you know?
Yeah.
And also
Yeah.
Doja's category was either right after, right? I believe so.
Yeah, not right after. It was like in the next column
in
of
in the
stuff. It
next,
was there was a
yeah,
lot.
like in the following thing. Well, not right after, yes, but in the next column. um it, it was all over the place for me.
No, it was.
for me for
It
me
was all
it
over the
was,
place.
yeah, it was all over the place. And then by the time, like, for me it's like by the time I finish watch the premiere, I
Hmm.
don't have energy to watch a whole ass main. Like, what?
Listen, to be honest with you,
Make
man, the only reason I had the energy to watch the main was the performances,
Yeah, because
because
I'm like,
I wanted to see.
make the premiere a bit shorter and make the main event longer, or just as it usually is, but have some of the categories moved over to the main, like the R&B, the reggae, the rock, the jazz. I think I saw something with Latin, the
Yeah,
country, like, hello, country music. I mean, I'm not a fan of country music, but I mean,
yeah,
hello,
but it's
like,
huge.
it's huge.
It's a huge
Why
market.
was it not in the main? You know what I mean? Like, put those stuff in the main and then make the premiere a bit shorter. And
Hmm.
I also feel like the format of the premiere show should be a bit different because it's
Yeah.
almost similar to the main. And I'm like, y'all
No,
have,
I don't like. I don't even think it's almost similar to the main. I just think it's disrespectful because there's like the main has all this like grandeur and all this glamour and all this like there's
mm,
so many frills and shit. And then
mm-hmm,
in the other one, they were like sitting in an auditorium in a row. There was
yeah.
like nothing fancy about it. And I'm
No,
like,
but that,
how
but
are you guys trying to make people feel special like this when they know that this is what you're doing later for
but
other
what I
people?
yeah, but what I mean with similar is the fact that in the main they perform and give awards,
Yeah,
and in the premiere they
yeah,
performed and gave awards. Like, I mean, of course the main was a bit more glamorous and fancy or whatever, but I mean, still kind of switch up the format a bit. Don't just have it still just about performances and
yeah.
giving the award. Like,
You know what else? It's the fact that they invite the lesser known artists to do the performances during the premiere, knowing full and well that shit isn't televised. I don't like that. And I understand it's a great opportunity either way. And of course, they're going to perform because it's the Grammys. You can say you performed at the Grammys because you did. And that's a huge deal. And you're still reaching quite a big audience because a few people, like, there's a reasonable amount of people that watch the premiere ceremony.
yeah,
But I'm like, if you're going to invite them to perform at the Grammys, why not have them perform at the Grammys? You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like, you know how
yeah.
much that would do for their careers in terms of
Hmm.
having the televised slot. But of
But it's
course, they're
not.
going to save that for the top artists
Yeah, it's not
in
about.
that year, which, sure, I respect that because that's where you're going to get all your viewership from. But
It's not about the artist for them. It's about where they can get the views. Because I mean,
yeah,
why, like you said, why aren't the artists that are not so known in the main performing? Like, I mean, like you said, it would do so much for their careers. Like, they perform at the main event, like, which is televised. Like, the premiere was just on YouTube Live. I mean, much people don't watch the premiere. Like, you know, everyone is watching the main, and it's also broadcast on television. Hello, like,
you know what I also noticed though is how, for example, Lil Nas X, right?
mm-hmm,
He was nominated for a fuck ton of Grammys, won a fuck ton of Grammys the first time he was
mm-hmm,
nominated.
yeah,
For this year, he also got quite a few nominations, won
and
no
one none.
awards.
He won none. No.
Yeah, Billie Eilish, last year, bunch of nominations, won bunch of awards. This year, bunch of nominations, won one. It's a pattern that repeats itself where these new up and coming artists who skyrocket into the mainstream and generate like a bunch of attention
Mm-hmm.
get all of these nominations, they win all of the nominations, but then the next round they get all of the nominations, win none of
And
them
then win none.
or very few of them. So this year we
Mm-hmm.
saw Olivia Rodrigo get a bunch of nominations, win a few of them. And now I'm curious if that's going to carry on to next year the same way that it has for Lil
Exactly.
Nas X, for
Exactly.
I was going to say for Lil Billie Eilish. X and for Billie Eilish. And yeah, because I see that as a repeat pattern. And then you
Yeah.
also have the people who get perpetually nominated and perpetually win nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get people like Doja Cat who got so many deserved nominations and only won one of them.
One. Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's crazy.
what the hell goes on in the voters, guys?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
why I'm saying we need to know.
I am clueless. I can't even imagine what they do back there. Like
Yeah.
it just doesn't make sense.
So strange.
Let me get into best reggae album
No, because
this
that
is
one,
a topic.
Chardonnay, when I tell you, I
It's a
gasped.
topic.
Even my mom was like, what? Because she was watching it with me. Because I
Yeah.
was like, what happened?
Yeah. Let me tell you, I was watching the live stream on my phone, and when they said who won, I just closed my phone. I just like, okay, well, that's it for me for tonight. I'm like,
Listen.
I'm not watching anymore because there's nothing else to watch.
No, listen, because when they said the winner's name, I was like, okay, I don't know who this is, but when I saw them, I was like, surely not you guys. I was like, surely not.
Yeah, I was like, no way, because that's why. Because when I texted you, I was like, I hope Spice is inside.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, her category is up next.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, well, she didn't even have to be inside because
listen, I was dazed and confused.
look what happened.
I was dazed and confused.
Like, how are you gonna have 5 out of 6? So 5 out of the 6 nominations. So there were 6 people nominated for best reggae album.
Yeah.
5 out of the 6 were Jamaican.
Mm-hmm.
This is just my opinion, guys. Let me just state my opinion, right?
Yeah.
Reggae comes from Jamaica. I'm not
Yeah.
saying that nobody can make reggae music.
Yeah.
I mean, anyone can make reggae music if they want to.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying, there were 6 nominees for best reggae album. 5 out of the 6 were Jamaican. Each one of them had a sort of reggae music in their album, and some made full reggae music.
Yes.
How is it that these people won out of these 5 Jamaican artists?
No, I was shocked.
With a range of some doing full reggae and some, because look, Spice does dancehall, but she has a few reggae songs within her album.
Yeah.
Sean Paul does dancehall, but he also does like a bit of like reggae fusion.
Yeah.
Grams Morgan, Etana, and those, they do reggae, and Jesse, they do reggae. I mean,
yes.
Hello.
Yeah. And I know that for a lot of people, the argument was, well, they're not all reggae artists. Okay, cool.
Which is fine.
That's an issue for the Recording Academy, not for the people who are upset at who won. Because I told Chardonnay this off camera earlier, but the Recording Academy has committees in place to ensure that the people who are nominated within the specific categories, genre-specific categories, actually fit within that genre.
So then my thing is, why then put them up for this genre?
This is what I'm saying.
That it does not fit.
Exactly. This is not what I'm saying, because there's a lot of people who are upset at people that are upset that Spice didn't win, for example, right? Saying that, oh, but Spice is a dancehall artist. What was she doing in the reggae nomination? Ask the Recording Academy.
Period.
Ask the Recording Academy.
Because clearly, and that's why I'm like, the ignorance of these people, because clearly dancehall is not recognized. They don't have, okay, it's recognized worldwide by us, but by the Recording Academy, it's not. There isn't a category for it. You know what I mean? So the only place they see fit was reggae, because Spice is Jamaican.
Yeah.
And her music somewhat sort of sounds like reggae. Yeah. Let's just put her there. That's what I think it was. You know? I mean, she and her team submitted the album for consideration, which I also thought that they submitted it in that category.
Yeah, you do have to submit it in
where they saw best
categories.
fit, right? Yeah. But then it's now up to the Academy to say, okay, well, we get where you're going, we understand, but
it doesn't fit in here.
Yeah, it does not fit in here. Let's put it over here, or just don't do it all together. Like, I mean, don't have her be nominated, but then to judge and make it seem like, oh well, they are a real reggae thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are reggae and you're not, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah. This is why I brought up that thing earlier of saying I want to know how many votes go to each category, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about the reggae one
Mm-hmm.
to be like,
Mm-hmm.
what happened?
I am also very curious about the reggae one, because I mean, like, what's so crazy is that I follow like multiple like Caribbean communities on
Yeah.
Instagram, and they literally like went and listened to each of the songs in the album or screen recorded them and then posted them up, and they were like, what y'all think about this? Because they literally
It's not
wanted the
adding up.
they wanted the feedback of the Caribbean people. They were like,
Yeah.
what do y'all think about this? And then someone came along talking about, yeah, Cali reggae is one of the best reggaes. I'm like, hello,
No,
first of
shut the
all,
fuck up.
what? First of all, I'm
Back it
like,
up.
what? First of all, I'm like, what is Cali reggae? What is Cali reggae?
Whitewashed reggae.
There is just reggae. There is no Cali
Yeah.
reggae.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's like, for example, if you say Afro beats, if you say NL Afro beats, no, there is no
Yeah.
NL Afro beats. There is just Afro beats.
Yeah.
Like what? What are you
Listen.
talking about? Cali reggae.
Okay, so I feel like we've complained enough now. We've vented.
Yeah. Yes.
We've probably edited
vented.
out a lot of the venting, but
Yes.
we'll just, we vented a lot. So let's talk about our highlights
Yeah.
for the Grammys, both
Mhm.
both ceremonies, if you have highlights from both.
So the highlight for me from the premiere show was the global music category. What was it? Global? No, I think it's the album where Angelique won, right?
Yeah, it was the album where she
Oh
won.
yeah. So that category was good for me because I'm happy that Angelique won that category.
Yeah, I was
and
super happy for her.
and I love the fact that she came on stage and mentioned all other African artists that she respects and
are changing the game.
And are changing the
African
game. Like when she
musicians,
met,
for sure.
the first name she mentioned was Yemi Alade. I'm like, there you go.
Yes,
there
I
you
was like,
go.
do it again.
And she was like Burna Boy, Wizkid, and all those. I'm like, yes, this is what I live for. So that was one of my highlights.
Yeah.
The second highlight for me had nothing to do with the show itself. Was when Spice was on the red carpet.
Yeah, that's a big moment. That's a big moment. I enjoyed that too.
Yeah. So those were my two highlights. When Angelique got the Grammy for a global music album, right? And when Spice came on a red carpet, because it's a big deal for Spice. She has never been to the Grammys, I believe, but I mean, this is her first time being nominated and actually walking on the red carpet and being the nominee walking on the carpet. I mean, like that's a vibe. That's a whole mood. So it was a big moment for her. So those are my two highlights for the premiere. What are your two highlights for the premiere?
For the premiere part of the ceremony,
or more highlights you may have, or whatever.
Oh, bitch, I can go on. So in terms of the premiere side, it was also Angelique Kidjo, because I was like, that's fucking massive for African musicians at large.
Yeah.
And Black Coffee as well, who's a South African DJ. That was also, I was like, taste. And then the stuff that John Batiste won for the Soul soundtrack.
Nice.
Because, like, again, taste. I was just like, I was overwhelmingly happy for John Batiste for the entire night, because he's super fucking talented, and he works so hard. He works so hard. He's also going through the most at the moment, and like, it was just so nice to see someone so deserving get all the flowers that he deserves. I can't really remember the rest of the premiere, honestly. One front won't lie. I don't remember much from the premiere, because it was just so fucking long that now I've lost track of who won what and whatnot. But those were people that I remember really standing out to me. in terms of the premiere?
So for me, in the main event,
Mm.
there were many highlights. The first one was Jasmine Sullivan winning best R&B album. I was so happy for her
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that girl can sing. When I say
Listen,
sing, and she puts so much emotion into her
she's so fucking
music.
talented. She's so
So
fucking
talented.
talented. I was so
Yes,
happy for her as well. I
I
was
was
screaming
so
at the
happy for
TV.
her. Yeah. The second highlight was Doja and SZA winning best pop slash duo group performance.
Hmm.
Um and why? Because it was a big deal for Doja. Like you could have
Yeah,
you see that it was a big deal for her. Um and she was basically speechless and she just wanted to give something, like she said.
yeah.
So that I was happy for her with that.
Yeah, and also I couldn't believe that that was the only award that she won that night,
Yeah, yeah,
because Planet Her, hello.
yeah. Hello.
First
Like
of all,
that was such a good album.
yeah,
Planet Her
so
was
I
such a
was
good
dazed and
album.
confused. I was dazed and confused
Hmm.
by that. I was like, okay,
Hmm.
sure.
And I think, and like you said, I think it would be so cool if we knew the statistics, like if they shown it, because then we
Yeah,
would know. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah. So those were my two. The other two is um the performance by Lil Nas X.
Oh, it
He
was
did a good
good.
job.
It was good. It was so
Yeah,
good.
it was so good. And then the performance by BTS, I really
It was so good.
enjoyed that. I also enjoyed John Baptiste's performance as well. So
Yes.
Lil Nas X, BTS, and John Baptiste, like those were
Yeah.
super great. Like it was so fun and interesting to watch.
Yeah.
You know, so those are my highlights for the main um show. What are your
Yes.
highlights for the main
Um,
show?
pretty much the same ones as pretty much the same ones as you.
Okay.
Um, yeah, for me, like, what made the main show was really the performances.
Yeah.
As I said, there was just that lack of balance between the two.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but there were a lot of really good performances. Like Billie Eilish's performance was also really good.
Mm.
Um,
I
but
missed that one.
my definite favorite of the night was BTS. Not even just because it's BTS and I love BTS. It was just the best one.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how else to put it, because they literally put their all into that performance. Like they gave theatrics, they
Mm-hmm.
gave production, they
Mm-hmm.
gave vocals, they gave
Mm-hmm.
dance, like they gave a whole storyline.
Yeah.
I'm about to praise the fuck out of them, but I'm nervous.
Mm.
They work really fucking hard, okay? And I don't think a lot of people realize just how hard and how much they care about their craft. So, like, for this Grammys performance, because after the Grammys, they did a little live stream to talk about their performance and just their experience, which is something that they do
Mm-hmm.
often when they're in the US for award shows. They always go live afterwards and talk about it. They were talking about the performance, and they said that this was the most nerve-wracking performance that they've ever had to do,
Oh wow.
because of the circumstances leading up to the performance. So they didn't even know if they were going to make it to the Grammys. They had no idea. They had no idea if they were going to make it. And so they were practicing. They said they were practicing for around a month for their Grammys performance, but they were practicing as 4 or 5 members.
Oh.
The
Mhm.
day before the Grammys, when they went for rehearsal, was the first time that they did their performance as 7.
Wow.
So they had less than a day
Yeah.
to figure that shit
Yeah.
out.
They killed
And they
it though.
figured
Like
the fuck out of it.
the
Like,
scene, I love the scene where they did like a dance breakdown with the
oh
jacket.
yeah, with the jacket.
When they took off the jacket and then they like swung it around and like
And they did the
locked it and
things.
did. I said, y'all better stop playing.
Listen, because they were saying that they had 3 run-throughs more or less the day before,
Mhm.
and they said like only 1 out of the 3 run-throughs went well.
With the jacket.
No, with the whole thing,
overall.
because they
Oh
said
my
like they
God.
would either get the jackets right and the lasers wrong, or they would get the jackets wrong and the lasers right. There was only 1 run-through that went like well, and then like JK literally recovered from COVID a day or 2 before the performance. And as we know, the like most recent strain of COVID attacks the fuck out of your throat. So the fact that he was able to sing like that, and the fact that him and J-Hope had the stamina for the whole performance at all, and to do everything that they did, was crazy. And I just want people to stop disrespecting them at this point. Just just stop, because people are like, you know, the mindset has generally been like, where the fuck did they even come from? They kind of came from like left field. Why are they suddenly so popular? They didn't come from left field. They're going on 10 years of being BTS. They debuted in 2013, and it's not the first time that they've achieved any success in the US. They've been doing it since 2017. Like, that was their first US television debut, was in 2017. So I'm like, I was just immensely proud watching that performance, and then my brain emptied afterwards. I saw it, I was like, oh my god. And then I was just like, brain empty, no thoughts, just BTS butter performance, and staring at the TV screen with a blank expression on my face, because that's all I was thinking of. And then when they did that live stream afterwards, and they said how delicate of a situation they were in with their performance, I was like, how the fuck did you do that? They're so resilient. I would have given up. I would have been like, oh, I'll try again next year. There's no way. It was nice to see them get the standing ovation at the end. I feel like they've more than shown what they're capable of. Because what they did at the Grammys is the scale of their performances on Asian award shows or Korean award shows. That's the scale that they normally go for, if not larger. They generally have a bigger time slot in award shows back home, but that's their general scale. Like, that's what they do almost all the time. They just haven't been able to showcase it yet. But yeah, so that was my biggest highlight. TBH. TBH, but I thought everybody else did a really good job. And then also Silk Sonic also did a really, really good job.
I didn't watch their performance.
It was good. It was fun. It was so fun. And John Batiste, of course, winning the big things. Silk Sonic also winning. They're so funny. Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak just make me laugh. They're so fucking funny. Every time they got up to accept their awards, I was cackling, because like Anderson with his wig, I was like, do it. It was so good. They just make me laugh so much. I just think it's so it was so fun. It was a really fun, I think, Grammys ceremony. It was a lot of fun. It was just so slow. It was so slow. The whole thing just took too long. The whole day was just too long.
I think like you mentioning like BTS being a highlight in terms of like the performance. That is how I actually felt like with Spice, like when I saw her on the red carpet, because
you felt proud, and like
I felt so proud of Spice. Like, she had like her whole team with her, because now she has a team, because Spice making it to where she is today, she did all of that without a record label, without any manager, just her alone. Like, can you believe that this one person made it all the way to the Grammys with her music, just pushing it by herself? Like, that is just insane. You know what I mean? So I felt proud, because I saw her with her team and her little glam squad and her little producers and her partner and everything, like just being there supporting her, and just to see her take a picture in front of the Recording Academy logo, dressed for the red carpet. I felt so proud, because I know this was such a big moment for her. Like, her actually, I know in her mind she was like, okay, wow, like I actually made it to the Grammys. Like, all the hard work paid off. And like I said, it's not even about her winning the reggae album.
It's the fact that she got recognized.
Fact that she got recognized. She was nominated, and she got an invite to be there as a nominee. And look at her now.
Exactly. Like, look at her now.
Do you guys know how much people try to bring down Spice in the music industry? Like, hello. And I'm not talking about like on an international level. I mean like on a local level.
Yeah. It was a big night for so many people. It was cool. That's that shit that I really enjoyed. It was like watching people that have worked so hard get their recognition in one way or another, whether it was performances, whether it was nominations, whether it was the actual award. It was so sick to see that. That's like the one thing that I like about the Grammys, is watching people get the the recognition.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, that
Yeah.
moment where they hear their name and then they're like, oh my God, and they're
God,
up
like
there. I
it's
love
just
that.
like it's just like Jasmine Sullivan, because when they call her name,
She was confused as
she
fuck.
she was just sitting down, like she was just like clapping. And when Sweetie was like, "It's you, girl," she was like,
Yeah,
"Wait, it's me?" You know?
yeah,
And
yeah,
she was so shocked, like she couldn't even walk up to the stage. She was just still confused. And I
yeah,
love to see those moments because it's like you're so like humbled and you're just putting your craft out there to help others. Because she said she made this album because of the things that she's been through and the choices that she made, but she said
yeah,
it became a safe space for
yeah,
Black women. And
yeah.
just like the intention of it. Yeah, I hope things look different next year. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me
Being hopeful,
too.
being hopeful.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess those are our general feelings about the
Yeah.
Grammys this year.
Yeah.
The BBMAs are coming up in May, so maybe we'll talk about those.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about those when they happen as well, because
Hmm.
those are coming up, so we'll probably have some opinions there too. I know
Yeah.
I will. I have opinions about everything. I'm opinionated
Yeah.
as
I,
fuck.
I surely will as well. Because the BBMAs is more um I don't know,
chart chart
chart
oriented.
chart chart oriented, but
Yeah.
also a lot of, I don't know, it's just different. That was our little Grammys moment. Um, if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're listening to us on Spotify and Anchor, please don't forget to follow us and also rate our podcast. And if you're
Mm-hmm.
listening to us specifically on Anchor, please don't forget to comment and ask us any questions if you may have any. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Don't Touch My Music Pod, to see our little bloopers and
Mm-hmm.
to get more info on the stuffs.
All the
So
things
yeah,
we talk about.
all the things we talk about basically.
Yeah.
And you can ask us questions there. You can send us a DM,
You can share
and let
your
us know.
Grammys opinions with us.
I was about to say, let us know what are your opinions on certain things that we talk about. So yeah, guys, we'll see you next episode. Well, see you. We won't see you, but you will hear us.
Or something.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.